Hello. Just getting myself some fresh water there and also some paper because I was working on quite a big painting which I've had to just move to one side and then come back here, so I've got stuff to do. Hello Mart Ann Ray. How are you today? Hello Heather. Hello Paul. Hello Sarah. Have the paints arrived yet? Mart Ann Ray reminded me yesterday that one of the suppliers for art materials is a place not called Grey Tart but Great Art and Cass Art, and I'm trying to remember, it's like Henry Row. Anyway, they're all on my website in shop. Lockdown gang. Nice top. Thank you, Paul. Is that my necklace as well? This is my favourite necklace. It's a little bit like getting into a river because it's really, really cold when you first put it on because it's metal. But once you do put it on, it's got a magnetic click, so it's got like a really nice reward. And then it warms up quite quickly. Hello Claire, how are you? How are the legs? Saw Claire hopping over the stepping stones along at near East Woodburn the other day while we were swimming, and I was waving and she was ignoring me. That's because she doesn't like looking down at the water. Hello Judith Banks, hello Julie Griffiths, Fiona, hello, love your flowers. Every day, Fiona Ashford, who's also an artist and makes amazing things, lives over in Cumbria. Every single day on Instagram, there is a painting of flowers. Don't forget Julie's art shop. Naughty Julie Howard. They're supposed to be arriving, so good. I'm in the office in a deserted quayside. I bet it's lovely. Do you not want to just like jump in the river and have a swim, Mart Ann? Hello Tracy. Kate Wilkinson. Now then. How absolutely lovely. Look at that. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there were either 10 or 12, but that's all that's left for now. What a beautiful gift. Thank you. And then this morning, wait till you see what arrived. I can't believe this. Look what arrived this morning from Tess. These are all my favourite things. I have to say, I love licorice all sorts, but I absolutely hate those ones there with the coconut. It's like, why did they think, let's make a really nice sweet and then ruin it by putting coconut in? Anyway, I can trick Fifey into eating those, and look at that lovely card. I've got another lovely card I was going to show you. And I was hoping that Darren's there. I think it was him who said paint fox. Hello Jean Cole, you naughty, naughty Jean Cole, stealing my life. Hello Anne-Marie Young, all you funny people. Right, I've got some ideas for today. We'll start and I'll try and paint a fox, a bit like my pouncing fox. I'm gonna just tear this in half. Right. Tip you over. This is not how to cut watercolour paper in half at all, so don't do this ever. This is beautiful, very expensive watercolour paper. I don't know whether you can see, in reverse you might be able to. If there's light behind it, you can see the watermark, Saunders Waterford. Lovely, lovely, 300 GSM paper. Now then, I'm going to attempt to paint a pouncing fox. Oh, I need to put my glasses on. That's better. Oh dear. Hello, Catherine Rogers and Pauline Steele. Good morning. Stop doing my very important painting. I'm watching. I'll have the coconut ones. Give me your address and I'll send them because they're absolutely revolting. Right, the first thing I need is to make up some paint. I'm sorry I 100% ready, but as I did point out, I have a life. I have a massive big painting on the go over there, which I'm really getting into, and it'll absorb me for a while, and it's not going to be done in front of you, because if I did that, I would balls it up for sure. Oh, do you remember the Rococo Parrot Tulip? I did a little bit more to this morning so that you could maybe just see how to develop it. Put a bit of yellow in and just alizarin crimson in the gaps. Somebody asked me what I did with all the white bits, because when I paint like this, when I say do a flower or whatever like that, I carefully avoid areas. Do you know what? Even while we do this, I think I'll just do something really, really lovely and add a bit of colour. This is playing with paint, and it's very, very, very important, because this is how you learn what happens. Okay. Quite nice that, isn't it? Yeah, there are these white bits left over. If I paint like that, well, then you can leave them white, or you can pick them out in a completely different colour, or yeah, find your own thing that you find good fun. Right, so I'm trying to get a really good ginger, a foxy ginger colour with yellow, permanent alizarin crimson, more yellow. We're sort of getting there, maybe a little bit more red. It will go lighter. It'll go lighter as it dries. So for this particular painting, I've got a card I'm looking at. Do you know what? This is the wrong side of the paper. This isn't the side. This is the back of the fox. Really, really important just to... And there's its back leg. Front leg. I'm trying to remember who it was who said, please paint a fox. There's the ear. Probably should be getting myself a slightly smaller brush. But it's quite a good exercise to use a huge brush for whatever you're doing. And there's the nose. I am going to get foxes have like black fronts to their front legs and their back legs. I'll turn it round in a moment, then you'll be able to see. There's the tail, lovely brushy tail. And by getting the brush and doing that, it's sort of, can you see, it almost makes it look like a fluffy edge to a tail. I think it looks like that anyway. So while we are nowhere near big enough, that ear, while it's still wet, I'm going to mix up, sorry you can't see my mixing area, I'm going to mix up some like deeper colour. I'm going to test it Still not really strong up there. I hope you can see. It's nice working while it's really wet like this and just seeing where things bleed to. And the way to know how to anticipate where things are going to bleed to and by how much is by playing and practicing. Years and years and years of just playing with paint and quite nice. Quite like the way it's going. What do you think, folks? Just pick a bit off there and transfer it to other areas. I think that's quite a good start. I watched, it wasn't last Christmas, nor the one before, it was about why did I wear this? I'm going to end up with paint everywhere. About 3, maybe 4 years ago, in between Christmas and New Year, I was standing on, just looking down into the field in front of the house. Oh, look at my hair. Anyway, I was looking down and I saw something move in the rushes, or they call them around here the reshies, and I watched. I just saw this ginger creature, and it was a fox, and it was just like mooching in and out of the sort of dead grass, and then every so often it would just stop, and then it would kind of tremble, and then pounce like that. And I would have stood and watched this fox hunting in among the rushes, very close to me here, for ages and ages, and it was just wonderful. And that moment of, I'm just going to maybe, let that run. That moment to sort of pounce, it's just a bit like that. It's not finished, obviously, but it's probably quite a good point. Let me see, I wonder if I should. Get the black paint. I'm going to put a little bit more. Oh gosh, sorry. Just a bit more depth of colour in certain areas. I think that's Peter Scott watching. Hello, Peter Scott, who I just saw outside the post office this morning. It's been a busy morning. I don't think some of you realise just quite how much I get up to before 12 o'clock. I've been away to the lambing pens, which are getting quieter, and that's rather nice. There was a drama first thing, and there were 2 lambs to rub in because sadly a colossal lamb did not live to see the day. But anyway, there were 2 lambs that for some reason or other were in the hot box that were desperate to be adopted, so they were rubbed in. And if you remember, what you do is you get the sort of amniotic fluid from the dead lamb, mix it up in a bucket, splosh the 2 lambs in, and then give them to the mother, who is sort of ready to adopt anything. She was what they call a mule ewe or mule yow lamb, rather than a pure Swaledale, which is what they breed on this farm as well. And she was really quite willing to mother these 2, so that was good. I saw loads of oyster catchers, mandarins. There'll be some sort of white fluffy hair here and under here and then the nose, but I would be inclined to leave that to dry for now. So I'm going to put that to one side. And hello Annie Palmer, hello Gillian, hello Calpurnia, formerly Polly, hello Sheila. Oh, thank you. Neil Fox! Whoops. Neil Fox. Annie Palmer. Darren Elliott. Hope you're pleased. I think it was you who said you wanted me to do that. Yep. Roots. Oh, honestly, Claire. And look, I'm not the only one, I don't think, who's beginning to feel a little bit self-conscious about their appearance. Fortunately for me, I don't have like a very heavy maintenance. I don't get my eyebrows dyed or all those little bristles plucked out professionally or any of that stuff. So really my sort of standards of beauty care were quite low to start with. So I wasn't devastated by the fact that I can't go to the hairdresser or anything like that. I know quite a lot of my friends are literally in hiding. They won't emerge until about a week after the end of this whole coronavirus thing, because even once the sort of lockdown finishes, they've still got to get an appointment with a hairdresser and a beautician and an eyelash curler and an eyebrow dyer and all that stuff. I'm sorry, ladies, but let's not pretend. The wall. We'll just do a little bit more work on this wall. Hello, Mark Jackson. A little bit like those walls that you jump over on your lovely, lovely horses. So what I'll do, Mark, is I'll finish the wall and then I'll send this to you and you can paint the horse jumping over it. I cut my fringe yesterday. There will be queues and brawls at hairdressers in a few weeks. Mark my words. Yes, I think you're right, Annie Palmer. Okay, so we did some, that's the way up it is. Okay, sky, hills, wall, foreground. And I'm just going to make this look a bit more like a wall. Stephen McKee's watching. I cut my fringe yesterday. Lisa, that's a bit better. Lisa, who normally works here 2 days a week, she cut her son's hair. And she made quite a good job of it, but I'm still not about to say, Lisa, I wonder if you could just do something about mine. And I'm thinking about perhaps going back to some of the hairstyles that I used to adopt when I was quite young. I'm just on the board here mixing something that would be quite a nice colour to go in between the stones on this wall. This is the fun bit, really, where you're just sort of using a slightly like a shadow colour and defining the stones. Oh, I can feel the paint seeping. I've always got paint on my arm and on my clothes. Mind you, yesterday I happened to look back through the video. Sometimes I do. Fifey says, shall we watch wifey telly? That means him and me having a lunch. I always have packet asparagus soup. So if people are still thinking about sending me gifts, as you can see, I've had some very, very, very nice gifts sent to me. If you were thinking of sending me something, I quite like packet asparagus soup, and that's what I have for lunch. So when I'm having that and Fifey's having something like tinned mackerel or sardines, which are quite frankly devil's own food, he says, shall we watch wifey telly? So I played it back. We've played it back, and you know what it's like when you listen to your own voice on a recording. Cringe. Not as bad a cringe as when I saw my flabby arms flopping away Do not ever let me do one of these with bare arms again. Paul Knox, that can be your job to never ring me up on the landline if you think I'm doing it, because that was hideous. I know someone who's got quite large breasts actually, and she said she'd rather get her baps out than her upper arms. That's quite surprising. I don't know where I stand on bap versus upper arms. It's quite satisfying just doing this. I wish I could get you a bit closer so that you can enjoy the... Oh my goodness, that's somebody ringing on the landline. That's surely not Paul saying, I can see your grey hair. I'm just not going to answer it. I bet that is Paul. Okay, so we can forget about all the rest of it. I'll just quickly do a little bit more, and then I'll show you something else that I do to make a wall look like a wall. As you can see, it's quite sort of rewarding, and I think it does look wallish. Then I do something else, and I think you're probably beginning to guess, where is that funny brush gone? Oh, here it is. So we're back with the very bristly brush. So, oh no. So that I can, not bright yellow. Oops, wrong one. Oh yeah, that was another demo of a Rococo tulip on a very different sort of paper actually. Right. I'm just going to pick up some paint from off my board here. Maybe a bit more of that alizarin crimson. Zoe Ball said this morning, when she waves, her arms wave back at her. Hello Celia Ridley, bingo rings, thank you Paul. Oh, hello Emily Edgar, Habitancum. You want me to talk about Habitancum, which is a Roman fort on the other side of the river here. Right, I like to flick paint on it, it makes it look more like a wall sometimes. See, sort of gives it that slightly rough edge, maybe even just chuck paint on. But you see, makes it look like quite natural, like a bit of wall. Okay, so that's that. Another bit of, oh yes. Now then, look at this. How amazing is that? And there's something about purple and green together that are just breathtaking. I am going to put that... I'd like to be able to put it somewhere where you can see it as well. I thought, oops. While Foxy's drying, I'm going to quickly put Foxy in the sun over here, and then hopefully it'll be dry and we'll have a chance to do a bit more to it. Don't go away. Hello Gillian Pattinson, Helen Henderson. Right, so I'm going to try and have a go at a beautiful parrot tulip, which is grown by a friend of mine who she is a professional flower grower. That is her business. She's a flower grower, and she's superb. And her company is Northumbrian Flowers, and she's got a website. And at the moment, she's selling perennials through the post mail order. You can just order. I'm going to try and prop this in a way that I can You can order like perennial plants and she'll send them to you. And she normally does wedding flowers and yeah, she does wedding flowers and grows the most beautiful flowers, and I get tulips from her to paint. These all came from her. Have a look at her website, Northumbrian Flowers. Now then, what colour to put on first, like the purple or the green? There's so many different ways of doing this, and I'm really not sure. I'll put it there, and then tip you up again, and have a little go. I think I might start with the green. That's what I'm going to do. Make a decision. Right, I'm not going to waste. Not going to waste that beautiful yellow that's already there. It's not that far off. I think it probably needs a bit more blue. Yeah, that's probably quite good actually. And maybe okay. So, oh God, just give me 1 second. Hello? Right, I brought it, so we'll all know the number of whoever rings up if they do it again. Sorry, you can't see. And what I could do with this painting is do these, do the green parts of it, and then when it's bone dry, Helen, then come back to it and put the sort of purpley bits on. I had a painting here. I'll just show you. So this is a parrot tulip painting that I did. Was it last year? And this is the sort of thing I'm trying to achieve. So I'll just pop that down there. Tip you back. So anyway, yesterday, I may remember I mentioned about Fifey's bike, and for those of you who have seen the embarrassing video of us on the amazing tandem trike, it's like a tricycle, isn't it? Oh, this is going to be nice. We cycled along to the village last night and went and had a swim again, which was absolutely lovely. And you'll be pleased to know that no disasters befell us. And we didn't just cycle there, we also managed to cycle back, and there were no punctures, which was a huge relief. And it was really quite nice. And the water felt warm. Oh God, this is going to be nice. So far, I've just painted. I've just painted the green bits from that view, and I would be inclined to do a little bit to that and then leave it to dry before adding the purple. I'm going to add some depth. Have we got any children today? It's quite nice knowing that there are actual children. So that's the start. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe the time has flown. But we can move on to do a bit more of that tomorrow. I'm just going to Habitancum, Emily Head, good lovely big. So yeah, he. Do not do that, Paul. Only if the arms are swinging. Hello, Jenny, Catherine Dixon, who is responsible for these particular gifts. So when I get really desperate, I'll have models. You're very naughty, Paul. Hello, Sarah. My walls are covered in paint. Hello, Sarah Morley. John Lewis. Paul Hutton. Hello. Hi, thank you for my diary. You're welcome. That's a lovely hand towel by the sink. Why do you keep mentioning it, Paul? It's not. It's horrible. It's dirt cheap. Actually, it's gorgeous. Thank you. Donna, Catherine Nicol. Hello. Should you not be feeling collars? Is that not what the police do? Green and purple tulip, beautiful, yeah. You're going to be in trouble, Paul. Right, wait there. Don't go. One final thing. Look, we're so close to your time here being up. I am going to do the next little bit on this. And then, because you'll be looking at it now and thinking, that looks rubbish. Mary Ann is useless. It's got no this, it's got no that. So I'm just going to get some very, very, very pale. Not green, sorry. Taking me a little bit more time than I thought. Just to get the palest of pale wash. And a wash is just a bit of paint. So that's like the white fluffy fluff on Foxy's tummy, the back of its leg, and then here. And that's like its nose. You see, it's sort of coming together. Oh, and the tail. Oh, where's the paint gone? And the white tip to the brush. This is what a fox's tail's called, a brush. I'm sure most of you know that. While it's still wet, I'm going to add a little bit. I hope you can see. And I know you're thinking, yes, but it needs an eye and nose, but we don't want to ruin it and do it too quickly now. So we can finish it tomorrow. Hello, Terry Little. Ruth, you're talented in your paintings. Oh, Anstis, thank you. Rachel Clark, hello. So your time is up. Maybe do it again tomorrow if I have time. And I hope you have a lovely day. It's a good day to fly a kite. I will not be flying a kite, but I may go for a swim in the river later. Anyway, have a lovely day. It's lovely to see you. Bye.